So, Emma Jane Unsworth, you are the author of Animals.
This is true.
The story of Manchester flatmates Laura and Tyler. And it's been described by The Guardian as a gloriously over-the-top account of female friendship.
So Laura is 32 and Tyler is 29, and they met 10 years ago, and they have been flatmates, housemates, and they've had a friendship based on poetry and alcohol, largely. They're really pretentious. They have a good laugh together though, and they look after each other on nights out mostly, and they kind of pound tables and get to the bottom of issues that are sort of bothering them. They have good chats.
There's a real bad girl quality to this novel. How conscious of that were you when you were writing, or did it just come naturally?
I didn't want it to be a cautionary tale. I didn't want it to be a case of, oh look, these people are getting up to bad things and they're going to be punished, because I'm not sure what I think about it all, actually, about what's deemed legal and illegal, or correct and incorrect, or appropriate behaviour and inappropriate behaviour. And I kind of like the fact that especially Tyler is kicking against everything that she's told to do, and everything that's expected of her. And yet she doesn't, I mean, she comes out the other side, she's okay at the end of the story. And I wanted it to be that way. I didn't want to be a cautionary tale.
Tell me a bit more about this idea of what women should do with their bodies, because that plays into this whole idea of whether they should be doing this or shouldn't, or whether it doesn't matter and they should be free. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, because I've been thinking a lot about this, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter what two quite rich, privileged girls in a Western city, in the Western world in a city do, in terms of the decision that they make about, you know, whether they go out and have a drink or not. But while I was writing the book, it seemed to me that I knew that I was going through a time in my life when I felt as though I was being told to calm down and to settle down. Not always directly, just often indirectly, and sometimes even by myself and my own expectations about where I should be at in my life. In my early 30s, whether I should be married, whether I should have a kid, I should be productive in a way that was biologically or socially acceptable. And it was bothering me, and I felt this judgment, and I wasn't sure exactly where it was coming from, but I wanted to try and unpick it a little bit, because it is about self-control and ownership of your own body, and even the tiny choices. If you're aware that they are choices, then that's something to think around, I think. Even just to bringing a glass of booze to your lips and feeling like you can.
So are you proposing solutions to these problems, or are you just describing them?
I just know that I'm very interested in women, in the idea of women not feeling pressured to do a certain thing in order to feel valid or valuable. Because I think at various points in your life, you're viewed differently, as a woman especially.
How far is the book supposed to represent a generation that doesn't want to grow up? Because, you know, in some ways these girls are behaving like they're still at college or something, mm-hmm. You know, like they've just discovered alcohol and drugs, and yet they're kind of knocking into their 30s.
But this is one of the things that I'm interested in and I kind of take issue with, because I don't see it as something that has an age limit, actually. Because I'm not sure people feel all that different inside, even though they're, you know, 40, 50, 60. I don't know. I'll report back.
I can't imagine Tyler aged 80.
No, well, no, she probably won't make it that long, like a true rock star.